What's up guys, Houndish here, and today I wanted to jump in with a bunch of exciting Destiny 2 Forsaken stuff to talk about. So we're going to get some new content this week. We're going to break it all down in this video, but of course new content generally means Dreaming City, so we're going to be on week 3 of the Curse. And we've been teased as to exactly what content we're going to see, but we have some lore now, which gives us even more teasers and an explanation of how some of this is going to work. And this could potentially mean new exotic quests starting this week, as well as access to new content in general. So I want to break that stuff down. On top of this, we will have new PvP content this week. We have words about the Prestige Last Wish raid, private matches in Gambit, and I wanted to talk about keys and chests inside of Last Wish. So there's going to be some pretty cool stuff to break down in this video, guys. If you do enjoy it, a like below is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see a lot more D2 content. But for now, let's jump straight into it. So we've spoken a lot about the Dreaming City, which of course makes sense because it is kind of the pinnacle location inside of this expansion where we're seeing a whole bunch of the content roll out. We did actually get confirmation of the cycle of content in Dreaming City. So Tom from Bungie said that the curse spreads after the Last Wish raid is completed, and that starts a 3-week cycle. Now the 3-week cycle isn't entirely tied to the content and changes in Dreaming City, but is more specifically tied to the changes affected by the curse. So week 3 is actually this week coming up, and we've got some pretty exciting stuff to talk about. Bungie even say that a very exciting long tail story is about to begin. So what is all of this content likely to be? Well, we have spoken about Morosov's throne world, we've spoken about the Shattered Throne dungeon, and there's been a lot of speculation about future changes in Blindwell. We do actually have some new lore, which gives us a bunch of teasers, as well as an explanation of how some of the content in Dreaming City works, both in terms of new spaces, new opportunities to get content, but also the possibility of new quests actually beginning when we access this content. So they talk about Blindwell and the technology that they actually used to build it. And this is in reference to the Techians and the Awoken. So satisfied that their methods were sound, they went to a grand cathedral to dig the well. There, Lissil and Sadia augured the first borehole with the help of Riven, who had taken the shape of a needle-nosed basilisk, while Kali and Shurochi constructed the gate itself, deep below in a hall they named the Confluence. So that is actually how the structure of the Blindwell works. When you look down through the middle of Blindwell, the area that you can see underneath is the Confluence, which of course you can also access, and you can also look up to the Blindwell from inside of the Confluence, and you can even see that you can follow this kind of line of light up to the huge door here. And we'll explain exactly what this is. So reading the lore tab again, Mara and Riven shaped her third throne together, and the artistry of their work was a testament to the hungry joy they felt in that partnership. They named it Elusina, and it was in those Ascendant halls that Mara finally carved a statue for Xur. So that does confirm that one of Mara's thrones is actually behind the Blindwell. That is where it was constructed. And we know that there are challenges to visit Morosov in her Ascendant realm, and to visit an area called Queen's Court. Now somebody actually found a pretty interesting area right here in Dreaming City when they were glitching out of the map, and they can see into it with a sniper, and you can see that you've got these kind of round rooms with pillars on them, so it definitely looks like some kind of arena space. We don't know exactly what it could be, but it's pretty likely that it is either Mara's throne, or one of the thrones that we can visit in Dreaming City, or it could be the dungeon, the Shattered Throne, which we know about via a purification ritual bounty. But it's definitely a space we'll be visiting in the near future. Also though, there's a pretty interesting shout there, because if we do get to visit this particular throne world, then as it says, Mara actually constructed a statue for Xur. Now Xur was of course Xur Ido, the owner of the Wish Ender bow. Also the first member of Queen's Wrath, Xur Ido actually lost the Wish Ender bow, and we can see that Mara is finally paying respect to Xur there, and so it seems entirely possible that we could get access to the beginning of the Wish Ender quest once we've actually visited this location. Maybe that will be one of Mara's requests of us to actually return the Wish Ender bow, and we also know of a hidden area in the Tangled Shore that's actually called Xur's Rest. So it seems likely that we'll visit that location when we're on this quest. And And so far then, we have an idea of where Amarasov's throne actually is, but also the fact that there is a statue of the owner of the Wishender bow in this space as well, does make it entirely possible that the Wishender quest will come up when we're able to go there. And there is another line that refers to Riven, and potentially the corrupted eggs in Dreaming City. So when it came time to connect the well to the unreality that lay beyond the gateway, Sadia asked, would it not be wiser to leave this door without a key? And the next line is, egg, Mara corrected absently, chewing on her thumbnail. Now we don't know what the egg is actually a reference to exactly. It could either be the door itself, but it seems more likely to me that she's referring to the key. So I don't know whether that's potentially a hint that the eggs that we see in the Dreaming City, the corrupted eggs, are actually keys that can allow you access to Ascendant Realms or something like that. She could generally be referring to the well as the egg that Riven is actually kind of perched and wrapped around. So it's not entirely clear, but it's pretty interesting stuff. Either way, I'd love to hear what you think about that, guys. With the curse reaching its climax, Bungie teasing us that really huge content is coming this week, I feel like we're possibly gonna get to go to that Ascendant Throne, communicate with Marasov, and as we've seen, this could tip the domino on a whole bunch of new content. Up next though, we can say with no uncertainty that there will be some new Crucible content coming this week. So with the weekly reset on September 25th, a new Crucible game mode will become available, so it's called Breakthrough, and there will also be a bunch of new maps coming to PvP. So Breakthrough is actually going to be available as the weekly featured playlist, so it will be in its own playlist for this week, and then it'll be added to the competitive playlist starting on October 2nd. And basically you have to fight to capture a central zone, and once it's captured, the team will deploy a breaker, but the zone can be contested, which basically puts you into a full-on tug of war between two teams to capture one primary zone. Once you've got the breaker captured, you can actually use it to assault and hack an enemy team's vault, and if you hack the vault successfully, you win the round. If you're currently in the process of hacking the vault, when the timer runs out, you will enter sudden death, where you either continue and successfully hack the vault, or the enemy removes your progress and you'll lose that round. It is 3 rounds, so the first team to win 3 will take the match, so it sounds pretty interesting. Of course, this is new content coming to competitive, and there are new pursuits in competitive, weapons like Luna's Howl to chase down, which is pretty beastly, but there will be a new PvP map called Equinox we can see right here. We've got the Citadel on the Dreaming City, we'll have Gambler's Ruin for PS4, and there is Firebase Echo as well, and this is one that Bungie showed us some gameplay of before. This was during the Crucible combat stream, where we also saw a little bit of gameplay of the Wishender actually in action. So that stuff is coming up this week, but Scott Taylor in an interview spoke about the Last Wish raid. So he said that the raid is on the way, but they haven't finalized a date for the release just yet, and he speaks about how the new raid is considerably more difficult and requires a lot more power, so it's going to be a little bit longer until we see a heroic version. But he did add as well that someone from Bungie actually had to stay during the first day when Last Wish was being completed to actually activate the content in Dreaming City that went live immediately when the raid was finished. So that didn't automatically go live, and it was around about 4 AM in the morning in Seattle. Someone actually had to stay and make that content live, which is pretty interesting. Scott Taylor though did also add that private matches will soon be added to Gambit, but they'll have to keep us posted on the progress, and this is where he also hinted that he's working on new future Destiny content, or a project that's due to launch beyond the annual pass this year. So that's pretty interesting stuff as well. Something I wanted to mention here which is interesting is this no barrier glitch that some folks have actually experienced inside of Gambit. So at the start of the round, where you can see the enemy team in the separate arena, a few different times I've seen instances of this happen, but those walls can actually come down and you're able to kill enemy guardians. You'll also notice that in this area, if you melee lunge towards the drifter, also if you look at the radar, you'll see that it's classified as an enemy, which is very curious stuff as well. I find it pretty interesting that those mechanics are actually in the game. Obviously, it may just be a bug right now, which is allowing the barriers to come down, but I do wonder if there's some kind of secret in Gambit that could also be tied to activating the Malfeasance boss or other hidden triggers in Gambit that would actually allow this to happen as part of the game or as part of an objective. Especially the fact that Drifter is classified as an enemy feels like a very intentional, specific, kind of thing to do. So honestly, I think there's something to this. It doesn't mean what we're seeing right now is, a legitimate activation of that, or it could possibly be that they've met some kind of condition in the game and there could be some other secret, something you have to do when this happens. happens. Very mysterious stuff, but I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Malfeasance, just like some of the other time-gated content, could well become available this week or in the next couple of weeks, especially if we do have things like Wishender come up this week. Super exciting times to be a Guardian. Final thing I wanted to mention, some folks had spoke about the Last Wish raid and how some of the chests work in the raid. I've had a few questions about it. Right now, there isn't too much which is really known. So to get loot in the final encounter in Last Wish, you do have to get the etheric key, which is something you get when you kill Riven. And this can be used to open one of the chests in the final room right here. So you can see that there are a ton of chests. You can open any one that you want, but each chest can only be opened once, so it's one Guardian per chest. You do have the chance to get 1000 voices. I've heard a rumor that apparently the 1000 voices will be in 2 of the chests every single time the room resets. So basically when you clear the raid, 2 of the chests will actually get the weapon inside of them, but it's a complete guess as to which one you need to open. I don't know whether that's true or whether it's purely a rumor, but that's basically how loot works at the very end. You do need to get the key from Riven and then clear the final encounter, so if you joined on the final encounter and you didn't have the key, you wouldn't actually be able to get loot. There are other keys that you can get as well, things like the glittering key, and this opens a chest that you'll find, I believe, between Morgoth and the vault, but that's not something that I've actually had dropped yet. There are probably other types of keys as well, and other things that will activate, via secrets, maybe via the Wish Wall, maybe via the heroic raid. But that's basically all I can tell you about loot right now. There are a ton of chests. It seems that some of them have better loot than others. It's randomized every time, so you just gotta make a guess and hope that you get lucky, I suppose. So there we go, guys. For now, that is going to summarize today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, a like below is very much appreciated. Let me know any of your thoughts on this stuff in the comment section. I will be keeping you posted this week with all of this content supposedly dropping. It sounds like it's going to be a very busy one. So have fun with it as always. Right now, my sponsor Now Drinks have a special where you can actually get an elderberry and lemon balm starter pack. Now Drinks are designed for gamers, but are also designed to be the healthier option, and it's pretty tasty stuff, so if you want to check that out, you can save 10% on that. I'll link that down below. But for now, guys, as always, I appreciate you tuning in, and whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.